Good morning, everyone. It is still early morning for me. Let's not talk about me. Let's talk about Hannibal. Let's check out this clever video by a very popular comedian.
Hannibal is my real name. I was named after this General Hannibal Barker, but not a lot of people know about him, so I'm forever associated with Hannibal Lecter and Silence of the Lambs. That's not even a real dude. Why can't I be Hannibal from the A-Team sometimes? Every day I had the same conversation with people about my name. Your real name is Hannibal? Yeah, my real name is Hannibal. Your parents named you Hannibal? Yes, my parents named me Hannibal. So Hannibal is on your birth certificate? Yes, Hannibal's on my birth certificate. But why'd you just ask me the same question in 3 different ways? I really want to choke that person and see how they handle that. Are you choking me right now? Yes, I'm choking you right now. Are you using your hands to apply force to my neck? Yes, I'm using my hands to apply force to your neck. Are you trying to stop the circulation of blood and oxygen to my brain so I pass out? Yes, I'm trying to stop the circulation of blood and oxygen to your brain so you'll pass out.
All right, so I hope that put a smile on your face a bit. Hannibal, he's a very funny comedian. For those of you in the know, he is one of the people who helped launch the Me Too movement, though it was unintentional. He did a joke about Bill Cosby, and that joke went around the world. You heard about the shot that went around the world in terms of the American Revolution. Then Hannibal's joke went around the world and helped launched the Me Too movement. Unintentionally, of course, but comedy, that's what happens. And of course, I could talk quite a bit about Hannibal, the Carthaginian general in the Second Punic War, about his victories at Cannae, arguably one of the most studied military victories on the planet, the double envelopment of a Roman army, decimating, destroying it. But we're not here to talk about the Second Punic War or the First Punic War. We're here to talk about whatever we're here to talk about. All right, everyone in the chat, good morning, Brain Bug. Glad to see you here. Derek Cruz from North Carolina. Actually, you know, I have my birth family. Part of my birth family is in North Carolina. Rage. Hey, I hope everything's gone well for you, Rage. I know that you had some x-rays going on yesterday. I hope that you are healthy. Ian Davenport, good morning, good morning, good morning. And of course, Simply Secular from the West Coast. Willie Ignorant, hello, hello. And Robert X, my favorite X-Man. How's that, huh? Yeah, so the question this morning. You see, I woke up late. I woke up late because I actually got a normal night's sleep. And I usually don't get a normal night's sleep. Hello, Kevin Michael. Not covered in snow in California. Marmaduke Scarlet. Hey, how you doing, Marmaduke? Lovely, lovely icon too. Lovely cat. It's iffy, but it's getting taken care of. All right, brother. Well, hopefully you're on the mend. Hopefully your trend line is going in the positive. All right, so yeah. So I woke up later than usual. I'm kind of a mess. You know, I usually have a few hours to get ready for the show. I still had a few hours to get ready for the show, but it was like not as many hours. So I'm a little bit less put together than I usually am. But the show must go on. Talking about sleep issues. I don't know if anyone else. Do you have trouble sleeping? Does anyone in the chat have trouble sleeping? They have any sleep issues? They sleep too long, they sleep too short, they have broken sleep. Because of, I tweaked my back just the other day. I usually have iffy sleep, but because of my back pain, I was up several times during the night, over the last few nights. Not last night. Last night was fine. Last night I got like maybe even a full 8 hours of sleep. But the problem is, let me tell you what my problem is. My problem is that I was starting to think that, oh, well, I'll just get another 6 hours of sleep tonight. And then I'll be fine in the morning with a couple of cups of coffee in me. But instead, it was a full 8 hours. I woke up later, I still got stuff done. Well, let's check out what's in the chat. Anyone have trouble sleeping? You nap, Kevin. Yeah. I napped yesterday too, and I made the observation. That I could tell how good a nap I had by how much drool. Yeah, that's kind of gross, right? How much drool comes out. There's a kiddie pool there. That means I had a good nap. Oh, doctor, you pass out. I've done that. Jess M, I've got terrible nightmares and only sleep 45 minutes at a time. Meds help though. Wow, Jess. Wow. I'm glad that the meds help. I'm glad that the medication helps. Terrible nightmares. Yeah, I have terrible nightmares. In fact, when my kids were young, one of the discussions I had with my then wife is that we could never have the kids sleep in bed with us. And one, you shouldn't have kids sleeping, like babies sleeping in bed with you, because you can kill them. But it was just standing policy that we could never have the kids sleep in bed with us, just because of my night terrors, to tell you the truth, before I got them under control. Oh, hey, Sammy Jenkins, congratulations. You are a secular Satanist. Well, I don't know. Were you there when we were talking to the Satanists the other night? I don't remember off the top of my head if you were around, because we were talking, of course, with co-founder at the Satanic Temple, Lucian Greaves, last Sunday night. But yeah, my buddy Jack Maturko, who's the co-host with me on Sunday nights, is a member of the Satanic Temple. Oh, James Henry. Is that your secret? Is that your secret, smoking? Yeah, nightmares are horrible. I've sleptwalked before when I was in the hospital. This is when I was a kid. This is a true story. When I was a kid, I got my appendix out, and I was in the hospital, and I tried to escape. The hospital when I was sleepwalking. That's what the nurses told me the next day, at least. All right, so sleep. Yep. So I'm hopefully, Jack is a good guy. Jack Maturko, solid guy. So me, a little bit, I think I'm more awake this morning from getting a good night's sleep. Funny how that is. And that's good. That's a positive thing. Jess M, Ambien made me sleepwalk. I would go outside to smoke and let the cat out. Wow. Yeah. The thing is, and I'll be honest with you, I have one of the reasons why I've never taken any kind of hallucinogen, and I'm not against, people taking hallucinogens, don't get me wrong. I know that Sam Harris, he's a proponent of controlled use of hallucinogens. I've never taken hallucinogens just because, and I've had opportunities too, because I just have a history of, like I said, sleepwalking, sleep disturbances, and I feel like I'm loosely knit together, and I don't want to push the Jenga tower. I don't want to destroy the Jenga tower of my sanity. I don't want to push the limits. I feel like the limits are pushed enough. Oh, you get sleep paralysis too? That stinks. All right. We should get to the news. Oh no, we should get to memes. Do some laughs. Let's do some laughs. We'll kick out a few. This is cat. Yeah, I know it, but this might be a cat-heavy kind of show. There's going to be a video with a cat, funny cat, and here's this meme, of course. Oh no, what is it? The human filter isn't working. What are you going to tell the judge? Don't worry, I got this. I am not a cat. I know it's. Some of you are going to say that's a stupid joke. You don't get the humor about the lawyer who, the Texas lawyer who couldn't get the cat filter off his meeting in the court, but I still find it funny. But don't worry. So we're talking about snow. Friend of the show, friend of the channel, Ken Reed, who runs the podcast, huge podcast, TV guidance counselor, friend of the show, great guy, Boston area comic. He posted this snowy picture from 2015, and I thought I'd share it with you. Even though we don't have snow here in the Boston area, we fondly, or not so fondly, remember 2015 during the snowpocalypse. Well, I don't even know how much snow we got that year. I do not even know how much snow, but but 2015, it was crazy. Like literally hip deep snow. My kids were much younger back then, of course, and the snow banks were higher than my children, taller than my children. And so for those of you in Texas, Oklahoma, and other snowbound areas of the country, though, the Northeast does not, or at least Boston does not have a ton of snow on the ground right now, maybe barely any snow on the ground. I do commiserate with your situation. Let's see what's going on in the chat. I'm live. I am not a cat. Indeed, Kevin Michaels. Indeed. All right, last funny thing here. Here we go. Nobody in Texas owns a shovel, so locals have resorted to shooting at the snow. Maybe a shotgun. Maybe a shotgun is useful in getting rid of the snow. Maybe it is. You know, Aaron Ra, the atheist activist, came on my old show, the Naked Diner podcast, and he talked about how his dad would clear the driveway, because he's from Texas. His dad would clear the driveway of snakes, because, you know, the driveway would just stay warm, and in the early morning, the snakes would come out and just lie on the hardtop, would just lie on the driveway. So his dad would come out and bring a squirrel gun or his shotgun and just clear the snakes. Interesting and true story from Aaron Ra. Oh yeah, I hear what you're saying, Sammy Jenkins. I'm suspicious I had COVID and didn't know it. Yeah. Well, hopefully everyone is going to be getting their vaccination shot. I want to tell you something about the state of Massachusetts. I don't know if this is going on in other states. If you have someone, or if you know someone who's over the age of 75 and hasn't gotten their COVID-19 shot, you can actually bring them to one of the facilities, like Fenway Park, for example, and the person that you bring will get a COVID-19 shot, the vaccine shot, but you will get one too, believe it or not. Yes, if you supply transportation for someone 75 years or older in the state of Massachusetts to a facility, you will get vaccinated too. So that's a tip if you're living here in Massachusetts. If you don't know about it, I don't know if this goes on in other places in the country, but in Massachusetts, you can get a COVID-19 shot if you bring someone 75 years or older to get their vaccine shot too in one of the state-run facilities. Clear the snakes, indeed. All right. So what are we doing for news stories today? I got 3 news stories. Something about the Proud Boys. Oh, problems in the House of Proud Boys. Fauci, Mr. Fauci, Anthony Fauci, got himself a science award, an award in science. Is it from America? No, but he did get an award for being a proponent of science. And of course, we have the atheist running for lieutenant governor in Pennsylvania. And he just isn't an atheist, but he's quite the mouthy person. He is not ashamed to be out there and talking about what he thinks in the fields he has. That's right, Kevin. You know the deal. You know the story, right? He's got some cash. Fauci got some cash for the science award. So it wasn't just an honorary award. But I'm getting ahead of the story. Once again, everyone, links in the description. So let's start talking about stories. What's the leadoff story? Oh, the Proud Boys. We've been talking about how there's been splintering within the Trump camp ever since January 6th, ever since he didn't get reelected, ever since the problems for Trump. And the Proud Boys are suffering too. This is just more in that story. Something to make you feel good about. The far-right Proud Boys group is splintering after its leader was ousted as a former FBI informant. That's right. He was a rat. We talked about this before on the show, but it's always interesting to point out that that he was a rat. And this isn't uncommon either. This isn't uncommon. They're in how criminal enterprises or shady organizations interact with the government. Like we all, like here, once again, in the Boston area, Whitey Bulger, the reason why he was untouchable from law enforcement is because he was an informant for the FBI for years. The Bolsheviks, is it always about the Bolsheviks in Tsarist Russia? It isn't always, but there were high-level Bolsheviks who were informants for the Tsarist government. In order to be left alone, they gave up some of their underlings. And so this is not uncommon, but very unpopular amongst the rank and file foot soldiers of the organization. So let's take a look at the story. Proud Boys, bullet points. Proud Boys group appears to be splintering and in disarray in the wake of the Capitol riot. Its leaker, Enrique Tarrio, was unmasked as a former FBI informant, leading some chapters to secede, not secede. Its main Telegram channel was renamed after some claimed that the brand had grown toxic. Single tear. Since the January 6th riot, the group has been thrown into disarray with Tarrio's history as an informant, which he denied to Reuters, spreading paranoia. The group is split into various regional groups or chapters. The Daily Beast reported on Sunday that the revelation about Tarrio prompted chapters in Alabama, Oklahoma, and Indiana to distance themselves from the central leadership. On Telegram, the encrypted app favored by the group after it was barred by other platforms, its main channel was recently renamed. This, say experts, indicates that many adherents no longer want to be associated with the Proud Boys regime. One more slide, and then we'll dive into this. With the channel dropping its name, different chapters breaking off from the national leadership, it all speaks to the rip that's occurring in the Proud Boys, said Jared Holt, a fellow at the Atlantic Council's Digital Forensic Research Lab, to USA Today. The brand has become too toxic. And to add to its woes, the group was designated as a terrorist group by the Canadian government on February 3rd. Canada's Public Safety Minister, Bill Blair, said the group's pivotal role in the Capitol riot influenced the designation, which allows authorities to freeze its assets and allows its members to be charged under terrorism laws in connection to violent crimes. So here we go. I'm going to talk about Lenin for a second. I think it was Lenin. And he made the observation, Vladimir Lenin, head Bolshevik. He said that the only way that he could maintain order, and I'm paraphrasing him, was to make sure that there was always the threat of terror, that there was a threat of terror. And when you have organizations like the Proud Boys, you can only control organizations like that by a constant threat of purges, because the Proud Boys, it's a paramilitary organization made up of meatheads. Yeah, and I'm sorry for insulting meatheads there, but the only way that you can keep control of a large organization like that is just by fear. It's just by fear. Fear, propaganda, Fox News, OAN News. But basically, if you don't have the elements, the internal security within the organization, it's going to fall apart over time. Let's see. Oh, they're like the brown shirts, exactly. They are the brown shirts. And the way how the brown shirts held order is by rigid discipline, or discipline over its, like I said, foot soldiers and officers. Yeah, Blazing Wizard Pope, I always thought the branding of the Proud Boys was a little off, right? It was always a little off. A little, I don't think it was something that they planned on. They didn't really think it out too much. Yes, Brainbug, the anti-big government group is led by a Fed snitch, led by a rat, led by a rat. Let's see what else. Yeah, so Proud Boys splintering the group, going into many little groups, seceding. So you're going to have smaller groups, which is, yes, it's still a problem. Smaller groups, obviously, you don't need to have a lot of lunatics to be a problem. The Wolverine Watchmen up there in Michigan are a prime example. Not a huge group, able to cause some problems up there in Michigan, but at least the Proud Boys will not be able to do as much problems on the national level as they have been in the past. So that's a good piece of news, actually. See, we're talking about positive news here. Fascists are on the run. At least the Proud Boys are. Blazing says that is one way of keeping them under control, sort of like playing alien body snatchers with the president. Yep. Weren't a lot of the brown shirt criminals released from prison by the Nazis? Well, it's an interesting case. Marmaduke saying is that, there was some problem in Weimar, Germany. In Weimar, in between the world wars, the name of the government in Germany was the Weimar Republic. It faced a lot of issues. It was soft on National Socialists. Adolf Hitler, he attempted a coup in 1923. He got a slap on the wrist. He was in prison, pretty much a cushy prison for a few months. He wrote Mein Kampf, and then he became chancellor in Germany 10 years later. So that's the problem. One of the problems with just slapping the would-be dictators on the wrist. Oh, Brain Bug. I see what you did there, Brain Bug. Well done. The Proud Boys want Starship Troopers government, and that's bad for brain bugs everywhere. You're right, brother. Not good for brain anythings, brain bugs, brain anyone's. All right, so what's the next story? I got 3 stories this morning. Anthony Fauci, right? Anthony Fauci. He withstood the idiocy of ex-president, former president, would-be fascist dictator Donald J. Trump for years. Well, for a while, maybe years. And he finally got recognized. He's gotten recognized officially by a government. It wasn't the U.S. government, mind you. Maybe at some point, the U.S. government will erect a statue of him somewhere, give him like accolades, awards, cash. But here it is. Anthony Fauci, he does win an award. It's from Israel. Anthony Fauci wins Israel's Dan David $1 million prize for defending science. Defending science from idiots. That's what Anthony Fauci, that should be the award. If I was going to give him an award, it'd be defending science from idiots. All right, let's look at the story. Links in the description, everyone. The U.S. top infectious disease expert Anthony Fauci has been awarded a prestigious $1 million. This is obviously from the BBC, right? Because you get the pound equivalent there. Israeli prize for his commitment to science. Dr. Fauci, who was often at odds with former President Trump over how to handle the pandemic, was given the Dan David Prize for defending science. He was also praised for advocating for COVID vaccines and for his leadership in HIV research and AIDS relief. Dr. Fauci, 80, who is 80, has advised 7 U.S. presidents. He was recognized for courageously defending science in the face of uninformed opposition during the challenging COVID crisis, the awards committee said in the statement. He is a consummate model of leadership and impact in public health, it added. Defending science in the face of uninformed opposition. That was a very smooth way of saying he had a fight against anti-vaxxers, anti-maskers, QAnon. Anthony Fauci, 80 years old, taking on all those. Wow, I can't even say the word I want to say because I'm doing YouTube and I'd get demonetized or I'd be, banned maybe. So insert curse word there. Yes. And this is the of course, the quote, the tweet. And somehow I just hit something here. Here we go. Congratulations to Dr. Anthony Fauci, global leader in research and control of infectious diseases and the director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases and public hero for being awarded the Dan Prize. So there you go. Congratulations, Dr. Fauci. I hope it was all worth it. Of course it was all worth it. You're saving America. Saving lives. So hopefully, once again, other countries will give him some accolades, some prize money. You know, I'm sure the guy's well off. He'll probably just give the money to charity anyway. But it's important for us to respect the heroes of science. That's how our monkey brains work, right? We need to show, especially younger people who are just coming up, that, you know, science, going into public health, these are worthy and important fields to go into. And, you know, we need heroes. We need heroes. And Anthony Fauci is a worthy person to hold up. Hey, Rage. Alabama with snow, huh? Is that the apocalypse? Is that the apocalypse right there? Alabama is imitating New England today with all this ice and snow. Yeah, dude, that's hard. That is hard. I knew the Texas and Oklahoma were getting it. I didn't realize that Alabama actually had snow. And once again, that just shows you the global climate crisis isn't really happening. If it's any, maybe it's west, maybe the Earth is actually getting colder. No, it's not. It's not. It's not getting colder. You look at the graphs. It's all getting warmer. It's interesting that in Greenland, they've had to make new maps of Greenland because the glaciers are melting and new land is popping up. Just one of the many examples how you can prove that global climate change is real, that the crisis is going on. Yeah, I mean, there's always, it's interesting about what kind of compromises you're going to make when you're working in the administration. And is he someone, he wouldn't have gotten this, if he wasn't in the Trump administration, he wouldn't have gotten the platform to work on. So yeah, was he exactly a vigilante? He was not a vigilante hero, certainly, but did he do the work? And did he help steer opinions? And did he use his bully pulpit to spread the word about masks? Certainly he did. And once again, we live in an imperfect world, and we shouldn't let the perfect be the enemy of the good at times in terms of applauding those people. Yeah, it is. Now I feel dirty, Rage. Thank you. I appreciate that, though. I do appreciate the pushback there on Fauci. All right, midpoint, halfway through the show. Let's do halfway through the show stuff. Let's do halfway through the show. What are we going to show? Oh, this is a quick video. It should put a smile on your face.
I just found out that my cat is 62 years old in human years. I'm devastated. You could get a senior discount. Why are you still living in my house? Go join a country club, old man. Go buy a second Lamborghini.
I don't know. It was a cat. It was silly. I thought it'd be a good way to break up the stories. That's what I thought. So last story, because I'm only doing 3 stories today. Like I said, I got up late and you hit the all caps Rage. All right, we understand that was an accidental. Capping, an accidental capping, indeed. All right. Let's take a look at the last story. What's the last story? The first 2 stories was about the Proud Boys, about Anthony Fauci, and now we're talking about the Atheist in Pennsylvania running for lieutenant governor. This is from the Friendly Atheist, Hemant Mehta. And if you've ever met Hemant, he's a very pleasant person. Pennsylvania State Rep Brian Sims, who's openly atheist, is running for lieutenant governor. Brian Sims, he is not afraid to speak up. He's not. We're going to find that out. If you don't know about Brian Sims yet, you will, and you'll be like, wow, he's not afraid to speak. He is not afraid to say what's on his mind. Since he was first elected in 2012, Pennsylvania state Representative Brian Sims has been one of the most outspoken progressives in elected office. He's openly gay, openly atheist, and is never afraid to pick a fight with conservatives who want to use their power to hurt people. And now he's running for lieutenant governor of the state. He's formally announced his candidacy this morning, which was yesterday morning. If elected, he would become one of the highest-ranking openly atheist officials in the country and the only one in statewide office. It won't be easy, though. Sims has created a decade's worth of fodder for his critics, but it's hilarious fodder. Then again, those are the same reasons progressives love him. When defending abortion rights, he said to his colleagues, "Each one of us put our hand on the Bible and swore to uphold the Constitution. We did not place our hands on the Constitution to swear to uphold the Bible." That line has been used by others before. In fact, he's repeatedly called out the hypocrisy of the pro-life crowd in a memorable way, sometimes going too far. All right. I have a video. You want to see a video? I'm going to show you a video of Mr. Sims doing his shtick here, talking up in the Pennsylvania legislature. So I'm going to share the screen. We'll see the man in action.
My colleagues to oppose House Bill 1948. 3 years ago, under very similar circumstances, this body took up equally hateful legislation aimed at attacking the Constitution and hurting women. I implored you then, as I do now, as an attorney, as a civil rights advocate, and as a legislator who has sworn to uphold the Constitution and not the Bible or any other religious document, to see this legislation for what it actually is, an end around the U.S. Supreme Court and the Constitution that are beneath this body. In fact, Mr. Speaker, the prime sponsor is unable to answer even basic questions about this bill's drafting, about the language that was used in it, or the impact it would have on the Commonwealth. That, combined with no public hearings, is literally the opposite of the legislative process. This legislation does nothing to create jobs, it does nothing to fill schools, to alleviate economic or financial pressures. It doesn't fund our infrastructure, support our small businesses, or create a better future for the Commonwealth. What this bill does is attack the very citizens and voters who created this government. As Congressman Barney Frank so eloquently put, if you don't have a seat at the table, you are probably on the menu. Once again, Mr. Speaker, we are confronted with the reality that in a state that is a majority of women, a legislative body, this legislative body that is 82% male, will once again be putting women on the menu. Finally, Mr. Speaker, as I've asked before and I ask again, how could any person charged with upholding the laws of our civil nation believe it to be their duty to subvert those laws and replace them with their own personal interpretation of their own religious ideology? Legislators like each of us in this room have absolutely no business making personal medical decisions for other people. Virtually every person in this room has had to make a major medical decision for themselves or for a loved one. Now imagine having to come here. Each of you, imagine having to stand at this podium and implore this room to allow you to make a personal medical decision for yourself or for a loved one. I promise you that not a single one of you would come before this body, and yet we are asking women and doctors in Pennsylvania to have to stand before us and subvert their medical and personal decisions for our own. Before I close, Mr. Speaker, I also would like to read the letter of an opponent of House Bill 1948, Dr. Erica Goldblatt. I used to think women like me were immune to this kind of loss, and I had the best reasons. As a clinician and college professor specializing in death, dying, and bereavement, my role was always to support others who endured the tragedy of losing a loved one. I began my career as a pediatric oncology social worker and found tremendous satisfaction helping others cope with what seemed to be insurmountable losses. I was the professional who was called upon to help those families make decisions like the one that I had to face with my family. That decision centered around my pregnancy in its 20th week. Prior scans showed a healthy, active little boy, a child my husband and I waited to have until we were married and somewhat established in our careers. A child who was already real and exciting to us. A child with potential. But at our 20-week anatomy scan, what I thought would be a quick peek at our son's growing internal structure became the darkest day of my life. After waiting for 2 hours for the scan to be read, my husband and I were met by a physician and an awkward medical student who grimly informed us that our son had congenital high airway obstruction syndrome, appropriately shortened to the name of chaos. Our little boy essentially had no working airway. His trachea was unformed, completely blocking off fluids unable to be expelled through his mouth, were accumulating in his body, ballooning his lungs, squeezing his heart, and flipping his diaphragm upside down. In my years as a therapist and ethics consultant, I never judged the decisions of others and knew that my only role was to help and bring comfort. Our son's chaos was not a situation that could be remedied or treated. His particular anatomy demonstrated no feasible approach for surgery. His airway was completely sealed. His heart was close to failing. If he did not die in utero, being born would either kill him, or the interventions needed to give him an airway would leave him most likely brain dead. He would probably die after that of a secondary infection in the neonatal intensive care unit. This would be torture. It would be selfish to keep our son alive for the sake of having a baby. To bring this child into a life of suffering seems cruel and unfair. She wrote, Mr. Speaker, I believe that God also led us to the decision that we made. The worst, most unrelenting, forever excruciating decision to end that pregnancy. There are truly no words to describe the sensation in a woman's body when she has been robbed of her child. The psychological agony of having this decision to end her child's life and the unrelenting judgment of those who have not walked in her path. Mr. Speaker, for these reasons, as well as those given by my colleagues, I ask the members to vote no on House Bill 1948 and reaffirm the Constitution of the United States instead of an attack on it. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Powerful stuff, powerful stuff. So not only is he eloquent on the podium, but he's not afraid to be brash when confronting certain people like Vice President Mike Pence. If you have virgin ears, if you have virgin eyes, this might be a little bit disturbing for you. But he saluted Mike Pence when he came to visit Pennsylvania. He saluted Mike Pence, but not in a way that Mike Pence wanted to be saluted. He welcomed Mike Pence to the state in 2018 with a one-finger salute. Oh, yes, the one-finger salute. Well done, sir. Well done. Bold and unapologetic. And this is the tweet that he sent out when he was doing the one-finger salute. Official welcome, Vice President Mike Pence. Let me be the first person to officially welcome you to the city of brotherly love and to my district in the State House. To be clear, we're a city of soaring diversity. We believe in the power of all people to live and to contribute. Black, brown, queer, trans, atheist, immigrant. We want you and will respect you. So keep that in mind while you're here raising money to attack more families, spread more lies, blaspheme with your Bible, and maybe even talk to a woman without your wife in the room. We have plenty of them, and they're pretty much all more powerful and more real than you have ever been. So there you go. The one-finger salute to Mike Pence. Well done, sir. Well done. I just want to see the election and what kind of mic drops this guy is going to do when he runs for lieutenant governor. I want to see what he does against other Democrats. I want to see what he does if he makes it through the primaries, to see what he does to Republicans. Because even if he loses, it's going to be savage. It's going to be savage. Oh, this guy, just a... another, yeah, all right. I'll let you guys deal with that guy who lives in his mom's basement there. I'll just ignore him, as always. At least Rage is here to deal with him. Oh, no, of course. Conservatives, their biggest argument is that this is the way it's always been. This is the way it needs to be. This is their argument. it's like apologetics. it's this same kind of insipid argument, just reformulated with more syllables. That's the difference between because the Bible says so to complicated apologetics. It's just more syllables, but more word salad thrown in there to toss it around. Oh man. Well, I'm glad that evolution is false here. Once again, sir, I'm glad that your mom's basement has been able to reconnect with the internet. Everyone, we are DD. Very nice, very nice. All right, everyone. This is pretty much towards the end of the show. Let's do something. Now, this is a little extreme. This is a comedy bit that, once again, it's a little off the wall. Before we start wrapping everything up, I want to show you this comedy bit. It's by someone who I respect as a performer. It's pretty weird. I don't know how I can prepare you anymore for this bit. And if you have virgin ears, maybe you shouldn't be listening to this. All right. So here we go. This is actually a video of Darth Dawkins. You may not realize that, but this is actually, we got some footage of Darth, and here it is.
Hello, you've reached 1987's most mentally abusive New Yorker, Helen Kamlicker. Of course I brag about it. I beat out Leona Helmsley for that. Oh, she was furious. She found out Atlas Cirque and was so angry she gave Lee Radziwill a titty twister. No, I'm not busy. It's my daughter's birthday or intervention, I don't know. What perfume does Harper's want me to review? White linen? It's wonderful, but it does ruin the surprise of what your funeral will smell like. Shalimar is a tough call because it's usually covering the scent of a soiled depend. Chanel No. 5 is a classic. Screams to the world, yes, I do have a Breakfast at Tiffany's poster from Target. And no, I don't mind smelling like notorious Nazi sympathizer Coco Chanel. White diamonds? Oh, that's right. For a second, I thought you meant my face cream made of children's bones. White diamonds is glamorous. I'm sure every woman loves the idea of picking up perfume and cat food at the same store. Florida water? Oh, you're right, Muffy. That's what the lot lizards use to pat down their undercarriage between tricks. I don't know if they read Harper's. But I really hate all the work we've done here today. All right, call me when you're better at your job. Okay, fuck off. Yeah.
All right, everyone. So what did we cover this morning in our glorious, 45 minutes of show here? We talked about the Proud Boys splintering that group, that fascist group. We talked about Fauci. We talked about how Fauci is a hero. We talked about how Fauci isn't a hero. The Jewish state gave him $1 million and congratulated him on being a defender of science. And we talked about the atheist running for office in the lieutenant governor's office, Ryan Sims. So blah, blah. Darth Dawkins, you're not even worth my time. As a Joker said, don't do anything for free that you don't get paid for. That's about it right there. And so many other people. You're like the journeyman wrestler on WWE, right? The guy that the pros go around to kick around. But not worth my time. Everyone who's been on the show, maybe we'll just let Darth come on the chat. You can kick him around. I mean, that'd be fine. I don't know. It's up to you, chat. It's up to you. So yeah, you're like that guy that everyone kicks around on WWE. Or that guy that would come up to fight Mike Tyson back in the day, and Mike would just wipe him out within a minute or two. Everyone, thank you for checking out the show. Playing Jenga at 3 o'clock today. Playing Jenga, having fun. More of an open discussion. Tomorrow, we're doing the same thing, 9 to 10 in the morning. I wish you all well. If you're lost your power. If you lost your power, if you're Texas, Oklahoma, and I guess in Alabama too, I hope everyone is safe. I hope everyone is safe. Be strong, and we'll do the same thing tomorrow. Take care. Oh, epic pose. Maybe the double face palm.